Philip has fathered a child!
Unbelievable! I knew it!
A son. And he raised him in the priory.
Oh, they're going to say Jonathan is Philip's.
He is guilty!
Okay, I take it back that this is based on my decisions. It's just...
Jonathan of Kingsbridge, step forward.
This is preposterous.
Is it?
Is this true? Are you Philip's son? Answer the question, Jonathan of Kingsbridge.
I have no father.
I have no father.
Everyone has a father.
That may be. But if Philip was my father, he would have told me.
How do you know he did not lie to you?
Speak! Philip would never lie. He told me that I was found in the woods.
In the woods? Is this true, Philip? Or are you lying?
My brother found him in the woods.
My brother found him.
Your brother? The brother whose master you betrayed?
What are you talking about?
Philip tried to involve me in a conspiracy against his brother's master, Earl Robert of
No, that
Gloucester,
was Francis who did it. I wasn't involved.
and his ally, Earl Bartholomew, your father, Lady Aliena. Philip took in all those refugees years ago because he was to blame for their fate.
No, Francis sent
As
it!
he was for yours when you lost your father and your earldom.
Ugh.
That, Lady Aliena, is the man you are trying to protect.
Okay. I can't do it. Yeah,
Well.
forgive Philip. Okay, I can't
I know
escape.
that he is a troubled man.
I didn't do
Who
that!
had to make hard decisions. Decisions that seemed right at the time. When indeed, they were terrible mistakes. I am thankful that I was forgiven when I made a mistake. Now I forgive him. Let us now return to the problem at hand.
So we're in a big
There is a
cutscene. I
man
can't press
who
escape.
witnessed how Jonathan was found in the forest. A man who can shed light on who Jonathan's father really is.
And who is that?
My husband.
Step forward.
Tom is still alive.
What is your name?
He is the master builder of Kingsbridge.
No, claim who I am. Jack Jackson.
Have you lost your courage?
Oh, I only have so much time. I've got to
I have
think.
not. You know well why it would be hard for me to face you. They call me Jack after my father. My name is Jack Jackson.
Yes, we have met before.
How old were you when you allegedly saw Jonathan as a child in the woods?
12. But I know what I saw. Philip told the truth.
You were a child. And what were you doing there, in the woods?
I was living in the forest with my mother.
Who's outside?
They were outlaws.
Prior Remigius is the most trustworthy witness we've seen today, and his statement was quite damning to Philip. The distant memories of an outlawed child cannot convince me otherwise.
He fathered a child!
No!
Call Tom! He's still alive!
And yet, Lady Aliena is right. We do not know enough to judge him as harshly as you proposed, Bishop Waileron.
You are right, Bishop Henry. As I said, it is not up to us to judge this man. Philip of Gwynedd has pleaded innocent, but how innocent is he?
Let's do an ordeal.
We ask God for his judgment. As Bishop of Kingsbridge and Shiring, I demand an ordeal by fire.
This is madness!
Philip of Gwynedd will be tried and judged at the stake. If he is innocent, God will save him from the flames. If he is not, then he will burn as the heretic and sinner God has declared him to be.
No!
Alright, here's Ellen. But no Tom? Oh, there's Tom.
Waileran, by God! Not this time.
It's her.
I saw the child and Francis. I was there. Philip is not the child's father. He is a fool, but he is a good man.
Then, who is the father?
Oh, Tom is actually going to step...
It is me.
Okay, right. Choices do actually matter a little bit.
They are all in this together. This woman is a witch and an outlaw, living in sin with a thief. He was hanged in Shiring 30 years ago.
He was not a thief. He was a good man. You've murdered him, Waileran, by God.
What is this nonsense?
He was a thief. He stole a golden chalice and melted it down and sold it.
What chalice?
The chalice of the Eucharist. He stole it from the Cathedral of Kingsbridge.
Sacrilege.
Yes, Prior James of Kingsbridge caught him red-handed.
No, show the chance. Because he didn't confess, he lied. Really? This is the chalice. Come on.
Is that the chalice? You said it was melted down and sold.
Yes.
Fall not for their lies. That could be any chalice. This does not prove a thing.
Where did you find this chalice?
In a secret chamber. We believe Prior James hid it because he felt guilty for falsely accusing Jack's father.
What proof do you have?
He told me. The night the cathedral burned down, I was there, I saw him.
Prior James died weeks before that.
No, he did not.
Bishop Henry, he speaks the truth.
Remigius is getting out of there.
Order!
Where's Remigius going?
I will give you until sunset to produce a witness who can prove your accusations against Bishop Waileran. Not just this chalice. If you fail to do this, I will make sure you are tried for defamation. Philip of Gwynedd, you will stay under arrest. The trial recommences at sunset.
We need a witness.
What are you doing there?
I've seen you draw up plans for a cathedral. Maybe we can do something similar to find our witness. Let's see. Your father.
He looks just like you.
My grandmother said he did.
And Bishop Waileran. What are the connections? Maybe, by exploring them, we can find a witness.
Good idea.
Have we got like a puzzle where we've got to connect people? Okay. So I'm kind of annoyed. I kind of like that Remigius's... A lot of Remigius's points are choices we've made, good or bad. So he's like, well, you know, he was good because he did this, but he was bad because he did this. And, It felt like, with the Tom Builder thing, like, he can die. And so, if there's a... Like, they can't have him... He can't have him very obviously come forward, because then that changes what happens. Like, oh, I'm... So, yeah. And there was one thing where it's like, I did the opposite of something, and they said it. I've already
Jack's
forgotten what it
father.
is.
If he was still with us, he could be our witness.
Maybe he still can.
Bishop Waileran is at the center of all this.
Okay, so how do I connect things? Jongleur, his parents thought he died on the white ship. Hanged and showering as a thief. Wants to see Philip burn. Is behind the deaths of so many. Made sure to leave almost no traces. So...
Mother says Waleran was behind my father's death.
Yes.
And she said he wasn't alone. There were 3 men responsible for your father's death. Bishop Waleran, Percy Hamley, back then he was the Sheriff of Shiring, and Prior James of Kingsbridge.
If they were all there, then they were all witnesses.
And only Waleran's still alive.
Hardly a coincidence. So why would these 3 men work together to falsely accuse your father?
What was he doing?
He was on the white ship. No one survived that night. No one lived to tell the story.
Yes. He was the sole survivor.
And then they killed him. But why?
Sank in autumn. They say no one survived. Is that because of the whole... Ooh, the King Stephen
And what
did
about
it?
the ship?
My father wanted to go to England. He was the only one who made it when the white ship sank.
Okay. Took Earl's Castle, arrested Bartholomew, was poisoned, father of William Hamley. Was Prior of Kingsbridge before Philip. He died in the fire, thought Jack was his father haunting him.
Now,
What about Prior James? So I can connect those.
how are Prior James and Percy Hamley connected?
Not at all, I would guess.
Except through Bishop Waleran.
Yes. He needed James to arrest my father and Percy Hamley to hang him.
Now both of them are dead. That can't be a coincidence.
So what's the connection with the white ship then?
Why would Waleran, Percy, and James be concerned about the white ship?
The son and heir of King Henry was on board. So were other possible heirs and other members of the royal household. I heard that Stephen was supposed to be on the ship as well, but became ill. He was the only male heir. The only threats were the king's daughter Maud and her half-brother Earl Robert, and they've been at war ever since.
And your father, Earl Bartholomew. He was a threat. He tried to stop Stephen and paid for that with his life. Maybe my father saw something on the white ship. Proof that Stephen was involved.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's the connection. So
Stephen always claimed that it had been God's will that he was not on that ship. That he remained as the only male heir.
That wasn't God. I bet Stephen had a hand in the sinking of the ship.
Now imagine what would have happened if he had learned that someone survived. Someone who might have seen what really happened that night.
okay.
If Stephen was responsible for the sinking of the white ship, then he may have wanted the only witness of what really happened to disappear.
But he wouldn't have done it himself, of course.
No.
So he then's connected to Bishop Waleran.
If the white ship is involved, then it's likely that Waleran was told by King Stephen to murder your father.
Timothy.
But he was not king back then. Why would Waleran listen to him?
He was promised to become bishop.
Of course.
Remember, Bishop Henry is Stephen's brother, and back then he was already one of the most influential clerics in all of England.
But if Bishop Henry is in on all this, what chance do we have to turn this trial around?
It is a public trial. All we want is for Philip to go free. We find a witness to expose Waleran. Henry would have to play along to appear innocent.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
It's our best shot.
What?
It's possible that King Stephen asked Waleran to kill Jack's father.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. So how do I...
So, what about Prior James and Waleran?
Waleran was not yet bishop when the hanging took place. He was Archdeacon. Philip told me.
But James still had to do what Waleran told him to?
I think that's very likely.
I wonder if my father ever learned why he was killed.
So, how do I... Because I was thinking, oh, we'll just grab Timothy, but...
If Stephen is...
His brother... Okay, so how do I...
Waleran... William Hamley's father.
Yeah.
Percy Hamley was the sheriff of Shire.
Am I missing some connection?
Well, he could have ordered your father to be hanged.
But he was arrested and held in Kingsbridge first. Prior James claimed that my father had committed theft.
Okay.
James was the prior.
That's where they say your father stole the chalice, melted it and sold it.
Okay, yes.
But we know that's not true.
As we found it, Philip recognized the chalice.
But Bishop Henry wants a witness. The chalice isn't enough.
But it's an important lead for us.
Right.
I think we're getting closer.
I'm fairly sure we want... It's Timothy we want,
Philip
maybe.
said that Prior James was an honest man. So perhaps Waleran forced him to falsely accuse your father.
Maybe.
That might explain why James was guilt-ridden. The monks still tell the stories about how James thought the devil was after him. So Waleran and the others claimed your father had stolen a chalice from Kingsbridge Cathedral.
Yes.
And that he sold it.
Yes.
We know that's not true, but we need a witness.
It's the only way to help Philip.
Okay, can I connect the king to the chalice?
Maybe Stephen never came up with the plan to hang your father.
You mean Waleran did it because he heard rumors and wanted to get closer to Stephen and Bishop Henry? Maybe.
Okay, these aren't going to be connected.
The chalice was used to kill the last survivor of the White Ship.
Okay, well...
Yes.
Is there a connection to Percy?
The chalice was the reason why your father was hanged in Shire. But Percy did not arrest him for stealing. That was Prior James, right?
Yes.
James claimed that your father had stolen the chalice and sold it. But instead, James himself hid it in Kingsbridge, in the crypt.
We found his scourge in a bed down there.
That secret chamber is important.
Yes! Wait, who built it then?
We're close.
Yes.
Everyone thought Prior James was dead. That he broke into the ice. And now we know he was hidden away.
Why did his monks believe he was dead?
Sub-Prior Remigius told everyone he had found James' rosary by the river. So everyone thought the body had been washed away. They buried an empty casket.
But how is Remigius involved?
Philip told me that Remigius was there when Waleran made Philip prior. Waleran and Remigius knew each other.
That explains why Waleran later made Remigius prior of Shiring.
And Remigius recognized my mother when we arrived in Kingsbridge. He must have been there at the time my father was arrested.
Oh, are we gonna...
I think Remigius knows all about this.
Is it possible that Waleran told Remigius to make Prior James disappear when James began to talk about what they'd done?
When James started talking to the devil.
But for some reason, Remigius hid him away. But Waleran never knew. Yes, that explains why he really didn't believe you. When you said you had seen James in the fire.
Where James died after all. And Remigius thought no one knew.